Namaskar. What we are presently witnessing is the spectacle of Kerala state being turned into a cemetery of history and historical facts. What is more disturbing is that the historians of the state are complicit in this nefarious game plan. Hence, we find attempts at whitewashing the notorious Malabar rebellion of 1921 so as to present it as either a peasants' uprising against the landlords or as part of the Indian freedom struggle. We have to analyze it a bit. Variyakunnath Kunj Ahmad Haji of Nellikuttu, a member of a family rapidly iconoclastic and who was once, along with his father, deported to Mecca for participating in riots, arson, theft, and whatnot. He is considered to be the kingpin of the riots of 1921, and some of the Islamo-leftist group in Malayalam film is planning to make a film on this particular riot leader. In this 1921 genocide, thousands of hapless Hindus were either butchered or forcibly converted into Islam. Countless Hindu women were raped or forcibly taken away as part of the game plan. That particular leader and who gave inspiration for the fanatic Islamic jihadi elements to massacre thousands of Hindus is being presented as messiah of communal harmony. But what was the ground reality? Even after his return from Mecca, the administration had not allowed him to return to his native place, and he had to settle at another place known as Nadiyurup. Although in the initial stages of the riots of the so-called Khilafat Andolan, he was not actually ready to involve in it. Many of the Khilafat leaders even invited him to participate in the Khilafat movement, but he was no way ready to participate in it, saying that it hasn't got anything to do with our nation. That was his stand. But once he know about the things going on, and he came to know that one of the major masjid, it was a fake news, but it was been propagated like that particular masjid has been destroyed by British officers, and the person who was leading that or controlling that particular masjid, Ali Musliar, was killed. When he came to know about this, and also as a retaliation of that so-called fake news, Muslim fanatics have defeated British officers and their army, and they all fled away from the whole area of two taluks. And Variyakunnath, a cunning fellow, he came to know that it is an opportunity and a good moment in the history for me to take the leadership. So then he participated in that particular riot, and he gave leadership to that. In course of time, he showed his true communal colors and took recourse to killing or forcibly converting the Hindus into Islam. This irrefutable truth has been recounted and recorded by many victims and the witness of the riots. Many of the historians, true historians, have also recorded it, and so many books and documents are also available of this particular communal riot. It was a political design of the leftist to give the pogrom the color of peasants uprising against the landlords. However, E.M.S. Namboodiripad, the Marxist ideologue and the main architect of this peasants uprising theory, it has been formulated by E.M.S. Namboodiripad. He himself on another occasion blamed The religious fanatics who believed killing or converting a kafir will take them to the steps leading to the threshold of heaven. For the rights in his book, Kerala's National Problem. In Malayalam, it is known as Keralathinte Deshiya Prashnam. Another gentleman, a freedom fighter and a contest leader named Samuel Aron, in his autobiography, had made it explicitly clear that to call the riot Mappila rebellion or freedom struggle would amount to repudiation of the historical truth. According to Moidu Maulavi, needless to say, a Muslim leader, a freedom fighter, most of those who were in the forefront of the agitation were landlords who paid land tax. This belies the claim that what happened in 1921 was a peasants' uprising. Mahatma Gandhiji reacted to what happened in Malabar in 1921 in this way. What happened in Malabar is gnawing our minds, who are aware of the situation there. My heart bleeds when I think whether our Muslim brethren have gone mad. My heart pains when I hear that they killed the officers. When I hear that they have looted Hindus and rendered hundreds of men and women homeless and bereft of food, my heart pains. My heart pains when I hear that they tried to convert Hindus. This was the later realization of Gandhiji regarding this particular movement. He considered once that it was a part of Khilafat Andolan or freedom struggle. Again, B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar also wrote on the Mappila riots. Quote, there occurred in that year in Malabar what is known as Mappila rebellion. It was a result of the agitation carried out by two Muslim organizations, the Khuddam-e-Kaaba. It's known as Servants of the Mecca Shrine. That's one organization. The second organization, Central Khilafat Committee for sure. Agitators actually preached the doctrine that India under the British government was Darul Harab and that the Muslims must fight against it, and if they could not, they must carry out the alternative principle of Hijrat. The Mappilas were suddenly carried off their feet by this agitation. The outbreak was essentially a rebellion against the British government. The aim was to establish the kingdom of Islam by overthrowing the British government. Knives, swords, and spears were secretly manufactured. Bands of desperados collected for an attack on British authority. On 20th August, a severe encounter took place between the Mappilas and the British forces at Tirurangadi. Roads were blocked, telegraph lines cut, and the runways destroyed in a number of places. As soon as the administration had been paralyzed, the Mappilas declared that Swaraj had been established. It was actually an Islamic State established. A certain Ali Musliar was proclaimed Raja. Khilafat flags were flown and Ernad and Valunad were declared Khilafat kingdoms. As a rebellion against the British government, it was quite understandable. But what baffled most was the treatment accorded by the Mappilas to the Hindus of Malabar. The Hindus were visited by a dire fate at the hands of the Mappilas. Massacres, forcible conversions, desecration of temples, foul outrages upon women such as ripping open pregnant women, pillage, arson and destruction. In the short, all the accompaniments of brutal and unrestrained barbarism were perpetuated freely by the Mappilas upon the Hindus until such time as troops could be hurried to the task of restoring order through a difficult and extensive tract of the country. This was not a Hindu-Muslim riot. This was just a Bartholomew. The number of Hindus who were killed, wounded, or converted is not known, but the number must have been enormous. Unquote. This is the somewhat the conclusion made by B.R. Ambedkar about this so-called Khilafat movement. It is here the following words of incumbent Kerala Governor Arif Muhammad Khan acquires importance. I would like to quote Sri Arif Muhammad Khan. He wrote in his recently published book Text and Context, in page number 30, he says, The movement failed miserably. Movement means Khilafat movement, sorry. The movement failed miserably as the Turks themselves abolished the Khilafat, but it succeeded in introducing religiosity as credible instrument of political mobilization. What role this religiosity has played in shaping future politics, particularly the events of 1947, surely needs reappraisal. So the religiosity, that is what which Arif Muhammad Khan was mentioning, the religiosity as a credible instrument of political mobilization has been included, has been introduced by this particular communal right. So it is it surely needs a reappraisal. It is to be analyzed also. All these facts conclusively prove that what was enacted in Malabar in 1921 was nothing but pogrom against Hindus. And the day will come when this incontrovertible fact will be accepted by all. Thank you.